Hi, and welcome to KXAN Plus. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora. We are here. It's a new year, and we have a new episode of Simple Health. With me, as always, to cover our Simple Health topic this week is our Jose Torres. Jose, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Esme, and Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there who is watching us. Thank you for joining us. As always, we have another health-related topic, and this one does have to do with the new year. But before we get into that, Jose, please give us a recap of what Simple Health is and why we cover it here.
Well, we like to empower you with information that you may not know. There are so many untold stories in the medical field here in Austin. There's research that's going on here. There's clinical trials. There's a lot of things that we try to bring that to you just to let you know. Also stories about treatments regarding maybe HIV or NICU centers here that are opening up. And so we try to, again, bring that information to you. And there may be a loved one in your life, or maybe it's you that's dealing with a health challenge. And hopefully we bring hope to you as well.
Yes, and last year we wrapped up the year with some great topics and conversations. Usually we'll have a doctor here, some patients, or just an individual who's trying to spread awareness on a certain cause or on health overall, right? This year, or this episode, we are going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. Jose, what was yours?
Well, every year I tell myself to evolve. I don't have anything like narrowed down. I just want to continue evolving professionally, personally. And so as long as I can keep going forward and not taking a step back, I'm winning. What about you?
Well, I'm very superstitious, so I don't like to share my wishes. But I will tell you that I want to keep going with my health journey and continuing to walk or run every single day, and then maybe join a gym and actually get into the gym and lift some weights, right?
Yeah, well, actually, maybe this conversation will help you out. We're talking about New Year's resolutions, and there's actually, well, let me backtrack a little bit. When you set like a fitness goal, it can be very intimidating, and you don't know where to start. Luckily, there is this awesome run club here in the Central Texas area. It's called Fearless Run Club ATX. I got a chance to spend with them. Take a look at what we got.
Fearless Day, how y'all doing?
My name is Courtney, and I'm a co-host here at the Fearless Run Club ATX. We have an 11, 13, and 14-minute pace group plus a walk group. We are all about getting beginners just started in their journey, feeling comfortable. We have a very family-friendly vibe here. So yeah, it's just all about starting their fitness journey and us being a part of it.
Dan Willard. I am the 15-minute pacer here at Fearless Run Club ATX. Sometimes run clubs can be really intimidating. I think this is one that is inclusive. We all feel comfortable. No one gets left behind, and we get people excited about just being active and getting better. I've lost 30 pounds just kind of being out here, and I've seen other people make massive transformations just by being around this family of people that care about each other.
Hi, my name is Michelle Romero. This past year I lost probably about 25, 30 pounds. Of course, with diet, I do weightlifting, training, CrossFit, and then started the Run Club.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm Joseph McMahon's mom. I'm the Fearless Mom. I always tell him that I think he had that gift as young as when he was in high school or even before then. He's always been the type to help others, and I remember right after high school, he tried to help individuals, little kids that were elementary kids, to go out and exercise. And so he would do that on his own time. So he started that years ago, probably about 10 years ago. And so now his dream just kind of has flourished, and now he wants it to make it a career.
Actually, I heard about Fearless Run Club through TikTok. I'm a slow pacer, and I was like, you know what? I think that's a really great idea. So through TikTok, that's how I knew about this run club. I'm gonna do my first half marathon in 2 weeks, and actually Joseph has motivated me a lot. And yes, I'm so excited for that half marathon.
Oh, what is the goal?
To finish less than 2 hours and 30 minutes. So hopefully I can.
We hear people running their very first mile, 2 miles. We've gotten so many people, just again, that family-friendly vibe, doing half marathons together, marathons. And yeah, we're just hearing so many inspiring stories each week. I personally did not grow up with any type of fitness background, so I know what it feels like going into a place and making it feel like just very clicked up and stuff. And we always say the fearless fam. We want everybody to feel family. So Joseph and I will go and say hi to everybody, hug everybody, get people to meet each other. So we promise it's not scary. We really truly want people to feel like they just feel comfortable, get started in their journey.
The Fearless Run Club. That sounds like so much fun. And just like we heard from one of the individuals that spoke, being the slow one in the group can be scary, but it seems like they are all on the same page and they wait for each other and they hype each other up. That sounds like so much fun.
And it truly is a family. And here, actually, joining us today is the founder of the Fearless Run Club. His name is Joseph. Joseph, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for being here, Joseph.
Appreciate y'all having me. That's so crazy. Thank you.
Joseph has gone through an amazing transformation journey. I believe, what was it, 75 pounds?
75.
Wow.
So tell us about your journey. Like, how did that all happen?
Well, at one point, I was 230 pounds, knowing that I really needed to lose weight, eating out about 3 times a day, especially in construction. I didn't know. I just was like eating out 2-3 times a day, and it was just extremely comfortable. And then I said, oh man, something needs to change. I'm not liking the way I'm feeling. I'm not liking any of this at all. So then finally I signed up for a gym, and then it turned into going 1 day to 2 days and finally starting to walk and run, and this whole fitness journey that I'm sure that we're about to get into right now.
And how hard was it to realize yourself that you wanted to make a change?
I think it was really just feeling of how I'm always feeling. And at that point, it was 2:30. I said, man, what's going on right now is not working. So I've always loved working out. I need to implement this back into my life. And so eventually it was going to the gym and then eventually signing up. And then eventually, as me and Jose talked, where I wouldn't even go inside. I would always sit in the parking lot for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I say, okay, I'm going home. Maybe tomorrow is the day where I go inside the gym. And then that happened for about 2 weeks. And eventually it was like, okay, let's go inside and stretch for 5 minutes. And then I would go back to my car. And then eventually the gym and sauna for a total of 10 minutes. And then it's just something that gradually happened. And then I loved who I was becoming and chasing and getting rid of old habits to adapt to new habits to become the person that, to me, you see now. I mean, this wasn't overnight, but this was definitely a half decade in the making.
The intimidating part for me going to the gym was, oh man, what are the other gym bros gonna say about me? But they really don't care. They're not worried about anyone else. They're worried about their own. So that was my experience thinking, what are they gonna say about me? But it's really, that's not the case.
Yeah, I love that. It's because I think if anything, it's more welcoming, especially whenever you go to a community, because of the fact that not everybody was gifted with a six-pack or even wants that. But at one point, we all came in there extremely intimidated. That gives me the chills talking about, because we were all at that point at one time. And it's wanting to come to the gym to get better and better and better. That's the same thing with the Run Club, essentially, is that we all start somewhere. That's why we have the walk. That's why then we have a 14-minute. That's why then we have a 13-minute or a 12-minute or 11-minute a mile, because you gradually get better. And then you see someone starting off at the walk, and it's like, I was there at one point, and now I'm there at the 14 and so on. So it's a journey where don't be intimidated by the outcome. Just get started.
Yeah, it seems very welcoming and very friendly to have people in your group. Like you mentioned, the walkers and then the speed walkers and the runners. That seems very welcoming. What was something that you heard from your group members or those involved in the Run Club that kind of gave you that spark of, oh, wow, me creating this is actually making a difference?
It was mainly just people having community and finding purpose. And then you hear some people saying that, they were struggling with maybe depression, and now they finally have a goal. And some of them, where we started about 8 months ago, couldn't run a mile. And then they said, you know what, I'm going to take this very serious. And so then it turned into 1 mile to 2 miles to 3 miles. And then they signed up for their first half marathon, which is, in February, where one of the people that came couldn't really run, and then we made her a pacer. Shout out to Perla, and now she's doing the 11 minutes a mile, and then she's aiming for this, and it really blows your mind of there's a lot happening. It's just you got to get out there and help people, and people will help you and inspire as well.
To give people some perspective about Joseph's journey, we have some before and after photos that Joseph provided for us. And walk us through, like, how much did you weigh if you remember?
All right, so right here we have shorts, and again, we have shorts, probably the same shorts at this point, but we started at 230, and this was probably about 165 that you're seeing right here. And this was about 5 years in the making. Right here is doing my first amateur bodybuilding show. I had no desire to do that. At first, I started off with a 75 hard, and then it was just, hey, you know what? Let's take this a next stop, and maybe onto me go and do this. Now, were the results insane? I believe so. I hear this all the time, and it was just an absolute journey of just, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and doing it day by day, really just eating whole foods and locking in on a plan that was beneficial and going to change my life around.
Now, so data shows that, people set the resolutions at the beginning of the year, and maybe like 2 months later, something happens where, they don't continue through. And that is something that many of us have experienced where, we set our goals and then something comes along the way and kind of derails us. But that happens, right? I mean, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot,
No,
that happened to you a couple of times, you told me, but you kept going at it.
Right. I think the main reason is not really losing the why of, like, if it's just, hey, I want to look good, I don't really think that's going to be the best. Maybe to some people that's cool, but my why was like, okay, so 2 out of my 4 grandparents have died of cancer. All of my grandparents had diabetes. Maybe a parent or 2 has the same symptoms. How am I going to break the chain? What do I want to do to help me in generations where I'm so grateful and thankful that I did lose the weight whenever it was a little bit easier and a little bit easier. Because at the end of the day, if we are going to pass away one day, then we're not going to get out of here alive. You might as well enjoy your time and have the goals and realize the why and realize why you really need to do this. Not because you want to do this, because you need to change. That has to be the ultimate goal.
That was very, very deep. And I'm sure a lot of people relate to that. What was the biggest struggle for you when you started that goal? You said going to the gym, but what else was an obstacle that maybe shied you away from continuing?
Of course, I didn't know really how to lose weight. And people say, eat whole foods. What is whole foods? What does that even mean? And so then sometimes I wouldn't even eat that. I would just look at the calories. And then I would think that I could do 2 to 3 days of staying on track and 3 to 4 days of eating whatever I wanted. So it was mainly just staying on track every day. It was mainly just staying in a calorie deficit. It was mainly just walking, getting your 10,000 steps in a day. I think there's an article that came out that the average individual is maybe walking about 1 to 1.5 miles a day. It's inevitable. Like, if you're in a calorie deficit and if you're taking the steps, it's easy. But I didn't know that. So it was always like, hey, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to have 2 avocado toast in the morning and maybe an egg, and hopefully that fills me up till tonight. And then I'm going to kind of probably binge eat because I didn't eat anything throughout the day, and that would spiral me. Or I would say tomorrow, and then tomorrow came, and then I was still having my old habits. So it's implementing what is going to be beneficial for you that you can stay consistent on long enough to actually see the results. And are you going to be able to tell yourself that I'm going to be doing this for the next 3 months? There's always going to be a birthday. There's always going to be a holiday. There's always going to be something that comes up. But maybe that's only a day. When, the next day and the next day and the next day and so on, I'm sure that all of y'all might have relate that have done something like this, but don't get intimidated. I promise you, just get started.
So people here, like you said, just eat whole foods. Like, what are
examples?
Examples of that. Yeah.
So I would say this too. Whenever I was 230 pounds and I was trying to lose weight and I was making an egg. Okay, so an egg may be 60 calories, but then you throw in the butter in the pan. Hey, I got to throw in this butter. Or maybe I got to throw in some olive oil. And an olive oil in a teaspoon is 120 calories. Now you just put 3 tablespoons in there for 2 eggs. So that thing that should have been 120 calories now has been like 400 calories. And then I would go to the next thing where I would eat. So bottom line, I would stick with eggs. I would stick with not using any butters. I would stick with watermelons or vegetables or 93 lean protein. If I'm eating ground beef, I'm going to go with the 93, maybe the 96 lean versus having, the 80-20 that's double the calories and maybe not as much, not going to fill you up as much because it's double the calories, and having the chicken breast instead of the chicken thigh that is going to be double the calories or whatever it may be. So it's fine just learning and being aware. And I promise you, whenever you finally do these things, that's what's really, really, really going to change your life. Play it as a game in terms of, I have this many calories to use for the day. Okay, well, what can I eat in this time period or in this time frame? Instead of eating this, I'd rather eat this because I'm going to have double the amount of food. And whenever you treat it like a game, it's going to be fun instead of being like, oh my gosh, I really got to do this. Or having meal prep for, at least a couple of days, maybe 3 days. And it's so much easier of, hey, I just got to go to the refrigerator and heat it up in the microwave versus making every individual meal. And those couple things, I feel like I wish someone talked to me about and just treating it like a game.
Yeah. My biggest question is, how do you get someone else motivated? Let's say you start your journey, but you see a family member that is in need to start a journey, but they are either don't want to have to cook all the food themselves. They think that buying out is a lot easier. What is some ways you can motivate your family or your friends?
I love that. And honestly, you're not going to like this answer, but the thing is that you can't motivate them. Whenever they finally find out their why, and it's actually bigger than, hey, I actually want to go eat at these fast food restaurants, or I don't want to eat at these fast food restaurants, that is the only time that it will change your life. You're going to spend so much time trying to change people's lives that don't want to be changed, and you're just going to be simply wasting your time. Be the example in terms of, I would preach so much, right? You can call it preaching or, hey, lose some weight. But then I was like 200 pounds, 220 pounds, 35% body fat. It wasn't until I started changing my life, until I started eating good, until people started seeing the results. Joseph McMahon in 2025 did 2 bodybuilding shows. He did triathlons. He did marathons. But I didn't do this just by myself. I made sure that I could try to bring a new person along the whole way of these running races, getting people out their comfort zones. So then that being the case, I started leading by example. And that's whenever change really kind of helps these people. Hey, family members or friends, or I actually do want that for my life. He seems like happy, so that's the bottom line. I hope that answered your question, but just lead by example.
Yeah.
Well, just to add a little bit here, I got to hang out with Joseph and his family for a while now, because I go to his run clubs every now and then, or most of the time. They meet twice a month, right? Two Saturdays a month. And so one weekend, I think, I was the turkey trot. And it was so awesome that his whole family joined the turkey trot. Aww. So talking about leading by example.
Oh, that's awesome.
He inspired his whole family to either run or walk the turkey trot. So, yeah, you can inspire people just by
that is true.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and we heard from your mom in that video that we just played where she said that you were made for this. You were born for this because you encourage others around you so well to get them on their feet and get them to continue their fight or their journey.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever I was growing up, I was always either a captain or whatever it may be in football and soccer and sports and stuff. And my mom would always tell me, I don't know how, but she would always say, one day you're going to change people's lives in the fitness. And I wouldn't believe her. And I think that's the reason why I got lost off course for a while. And then I came back to it. And whenever I did, I felt whole again. And whenever Jose said that, yes, they did do this, now we're going to make this a tradition. Hopefully, we'll see. They said that they want to make this a tradition. I had my girlfriend do it with me. I had my mom, my dad, my brother. And it was honestly all their first races. And it was 5 miles. So then They had been leading up to this point. But whenever they saw me dramatically drop this weight over the last couple of years, they knew that they wanted to do the same thing too. So my brother's now down about 40 pounds. My dad's down about 15 or 20. Wow. My mom's about 20 pounds, about maybe 15 pounds as well. Courtney is now doing her first run in February out here doing the half marathon, and I will be coaching her and guiding her through this whole way as well. So yes, you can lead by example, but it's not until you start doing that other people start following, I should say.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. And you can see everyone around you in your run club is very inspired by your work and your family's work. But when it gets to those hard times, when you're midway through, what is that one thing that keeps you going and keeps you motivated?
Wow, that is a great one. I would say realistically, in all honesty, is finding your why in life, and my purpose in life is just really just to help others. And maybe sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get up early in the morning to do maybe this run club. But I really don't look at that anymore because of the fact that you start hearing and seeing these things of how much happiness that you can give somebody. And so whenever that happens, then you're like, I'm so blessed to do this. So whenever I switch the word of using that this is a blessing, that this is my purpose, I think that it's a lot easier just to be motivated. What is your purpose too? And what is the reasoning why you actually want to change your life?
And through your journey, you've had some mistakes, but those mistakes have been a blessing because you're using those mistakes to coach others.
Yes.
Because now you have all this experience, and from those lessons, what can people expect from you in that scenario of coach and client?
Coaching client, well, no, honestly, if this is something that I want to do, I want to make sure that I'm honestly the best in United States, if not the world, and eventually getting to that point. So whenever it's like trial and error, whenever I did the 75 hard, I failed about 6 times before that. Whenever I did an Ironman or half Ironman before, I got disqualified. So it's like realizing all these things of maybe I thought I could do it. And so then, or whenever I stick with a diet, I could tell you countless of times of how I said that I was finally going to do a diet, and I lasted 2 days into it. And then it was like, hey, that phone rings, your friends want to go out to eat, and then we all go out to eat, and I say, you know what, I'll be back on track tomorrow. And that never happened. So it's just really finding out of whenever I do this for people, I want to lead by example, but I also know that I have been in your shoes, and at this point, you know that I've been in your shoes. Let's find out your why. Let's find out your reasoning. Let's find out what's going to be the easiest and consistent for you, and let's figure out, is this something that you really want to do? Because this is not going to be easy, but it is going to be simple enough to get the results day by day, just being consistent. And it is extremely life-changing just to do it for your health, for your mindset, for your life, and for many others that you may have an impact as well. So don't take yourself out the equation, but also know that you have a blessing to give others. So that's what I really want to do. That's why I went to UT, go hook 'em, dang, baby, to get my personal trainer certification. Right now I'm going to get my psychology degree. I only have 2 more classes to get my associates. That way, if anyone has these barriers of maybe binge eating or the reasoning why they do these things, I want to have the psychology around it too, and then going back to school for a certification for nutrition as well, versus everything that I've learned over the years. I mean, 70 pounds is crazy. That's like what, maybe a 5-year-old baby, maybe even longer, right? So I don't know, but yeah, so it's just been a journey of, I haven't always looked like this, and let me help you get yourself to the next step as well.
And when you do get that call from your friends, or when you were in your journey and you got that call saying, hey, let's go get drinks or let's go eat some Pluckers, what did you do to stay on track?
To be honest with you, I wish that my girlfriend was here right now, or any of my family members, because of the fact that you don't really need to be this wild, but I would honestly enjoy going with them, and I would always bring my meals with me. It sounds crazy. I already had my things, or if not, hey, maybe she wanted to go eat something. We would maybe pick it up and maybe go to Zilker Park. Come on. And we would go there
Cute,
and we would chill.
picnic.
Yeah. You got the beautiful city in the background, or maybe you eat a little bit. Now you're going to Barton Springs, and now you find out a date. Oh, you got a girlfriend. You want to be a little bit more romantic? Come on. She's not going to turn that down. So it's finding out different ways. If we're getting rid of our old chapter, and it could be kind of sad, but it's time to close that door. Let's build new habits in the new beginning. And that way you can have one of the best lives in the world. And that is the reasoning why, or what I did to go around these things.
That's awesome.
I love that. Love the energy, love the input. And Joseph, thank you so much for sharing your story here with us. And for anyone who may be watching this, maybe after 2 months after the new year, you can still apply all of these lessons to your fitness life or your fitness goals, because you can start any day.
Whenever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually if you start right away, everyone's starting right away, and the gyms may be a little congested. So maybe start later.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Jose, thank you for bringing this amazing topic with us. For anyone who wants to keep up with the Run Club or even join, how can they do that?
Go Go for it.
Oh, no. That's for you.
Joseph underscore McMahon 1 or anything in terms of looking at fearless. Stay fearless or go for it.
The Fearless Run Club ATX. They're
Let's go.
on Instagram. They're on TikTok.
Sweat Pals.
Sweat Pals. Yeah, see, I forgot about that. We're going to have all of that for you with this web story as well on KXAN/Simple Health.
Yes, we will. And thank you both for joining me. Jose, we will see you next week with another Simple Health episode. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.